Edging that algorithm. Quick question, guys. If your wife says she's exhausted and offers you her body but no effort, do you take it? Or do you need her to prove that she wants you? Stay to the end because today's episode will explain why that need kills her sexual desire. We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's true. It's damn true. What's good, brother? I hope you had a good weekend. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Now, if sex has turned into a scoreboard in your marriage, this is why. I'm going to be going over a Red Pill archive post that breaks down the hidden validation needs and covert deals a lot of husbands make in their head. Then they punish their wife for not honoring it. And it ends with one bedroom scenario that will tell you fast what you're really after when you initiate. Stay with me till the end because that scenario exposes the exact habit that makes sex a chore for her. All right. Now, I found this Red Pill archive post, and I thought it would just be good to go ahead and read through this today. There's some guys in my wolf pack that either have experienced this or they're experiencing it now. And I was like, this post exactly explains what they're dealing with in this situation, right? So I was like, this is going to be a good one for those guys. And honestly, I was this guy too. So I'm not beating up any of you guys. I'm not trying to talk down to you or anything like that, but it's something that most guys aren't even aware of. They're not aware of how their need to make sure she's having a great time in the bedroom, their need for her to act enthusiastically every time you guys have sex, that it's really validation seeking behavior. And it really puts a lot of pressure on her and it makes her want to have sex even less. Okay, so we're going to get into that today. It was written back in 2018 by a guy called Man in the World. And he wrote this in response to a sort of an interaction between another guy's post. So there's a quote in this from that guy's original post. We'll get to that. He starts off, the red pill has made us all very aware of the basic beta bucks covert contract of provisioning for sexual access to his wife. Swallowing red pill means giving up this covert contract. There are other less apparent validation needs and covert contracts common to many new men here that will also poison your sexual relationship with your wife, which you must also recognize and remove before you can have the great sex that you and your wife desire. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever read No More Mr. Nice Guy. If you haven't, I 100% absolutely recommend you guys read that book. That book is an absolute game changer for you. It's book one in Red Pill canon. Okay. It's like the first book you have to read in the Married Red Pill sidebar. And one of the things that Dr. Glover talks about is basically both men and women, it's on them whether they're having pleasure in the bedroom or not. Like it's not your job necessarily to make sure she's being pleasured. It's not her job necessarily to make sure you're getting pleasured. You're both adults. You both know what you like. It's up to you to make sure you're getting pleasured. This is what he's saying, right? And the real big reason behind this is for what we're talking about today. It's because a lot of guys almost like if she's not enthusiastic, they don't want it. Right. And then what happens is you don't initiate anymore. She thinks that there's a disconnect, and the whole entire thing breaks apart. And next thing you know, months or years go by, and you guys aren't really having sex anymore. You know, and it's like this is a big thing that leads to dead bedrooms, and it's totally preventable. Okay. By the way, guys, I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications, would you? So he goes on, attraction validation. Many a husband takes every word, action, or denial regarding sex by one woman, his wife, as a profound affirmation or rejection of his attractiveness or even his fundamental worth as a man. For some, this may be confounded with unresolved self-esteem issues as nerds or losers from their formative teenage years, conflating their value and status as a person with their sexual success. Okay, now he's going to quote the original article that he's replying to here, but let me know if this sounds like you or a past version of you, okay? Let me know in the chat. Many people pointed out that I had my wife. So this is another guy talking, right? Many people pointed out that I had my wife on a pedestal, but it was more than that. I built my entire self-identity around being the nerd that made good and got the dream girl. I felt like I had won at life, and having that ripped away was a direct attack on my self-image, which is why you shouldn't build your self-image on a foundation of validation from others. Lesson learned. This is all wrapped up in validation as well, because I don't feel attractive because she doesn't act like I think she would act if she felt I was attractive. So I give in. So I give in order to get that reaction, that's the definition of a covert contract. Give in order to get, right? You're not giving because you want to genuinely give. You're expecting something in return, right? No reaction, no validation, hurt feelings, etc. Best to stay in the comfort zone in order to avoid that, right? This was me in a lot of past relationships. I would put like every chick I was with on some kind of magical pedestal. I always would like talk like, oh, I'm not good enough for you. And I don't know why I don't know why you're with me. And, I'm punching up and all this kind of stuff. The thing is, when you do that enough to a girl, she starts to believe you. She starts going, yeah, you're right. You're right. Why am I with you? Right? You're not using hypergamy to your advantage when you put women on a pedestal like that. And then guys do put their whole identity around it. Like, I got this hot girl here. I got this hot girl here. Look at me. I got this hot girl here. Hey, everybody, look at me. Right? But then on top of that, when she's less enthusiastic, now all of a sudden you act butthurt about it. You start rejecting her, which I've said on the podcast quite a bit. You rejecting a woman does not work in your favor. It does not work the same way as women rejecting men. It basically tells her that sex isn't important to you and to keep not giving you sex. And that's really like that will by itself will lead you into a dead bedroom, or at the very bare minimum, way less sex than you want. Okay. So let me ask you this. Okay. If she said, I'm tired, but you can stick it in, would you take it or pass? Comment, take or pass. Okay. Let me know in the chat. Comment, take or pass. If she's like, I'm not feeling it tonight, but you can go ahead and put it in. Would you put it in and get your needs met? Or would you go, fuck that shit? I ain't taking crumbs. I ain't taking scraps and shit. Let me know. Say take or pass. There's no wrong answer here necessarily. Let me know in the chat or the comments if you're watching the replay. These men, so this is going back to the original author here, right? These men often orbit their wives seeking sex more for affirmation of their self-worth than from authentic desire. This is toxic to their sexual relationship for several reasons. One, their neediness for validation and lack of self-confidence is unattractive. Right? In the red pill space, we often talk about be attractive, don't be unattractive, right? Be attractive means go to the gym, wear clothes that fit, put cologne on, make sure your beard's trim. It doesn't look all scraggly, although mine's looking kind of scruffy this morning, but that's okay. It's still early, bro. Right. So that's be attractive. Don't be unattractive is your behavior. neediness and validation seeking behavior is unattractive as hell. It's more unattractive than you actually realize, bro. Okay. 2, their wives sense the lack of authentic desire to be responsive to and lose their own validation and motivation for sex. It's like women can smell a covert contract. They can smell neediness. They can smell validation seeking behavior like sharks smell blood. Okay. Like that turns them off too. And it puts a lot of pressure on them too. You know what I mean? Like, and women are in their heads enough. Women are just naturally neurotic creatures. And so if you get them in their heads in the wrong way, instead of them fantasizing about this sexual experience, they're thinking about, oh God, I've got to perform now. Oh God, he wants to make me come and stuff like, oh crap. You know what I mean? Like that turns them off even more. Okay. 3, the need of the husband for signs of attraction and desire from his wife makes sex tiresome emotional labor for her, in which she has to regulate or fake her emotions and respond to validate him. This makes sex unappealing, unauthentic, effortful, and emotionally risky for her should her act fail to provide the validation comfort that he seeks, right? So the whole thing just goes to hell in a handbasket. But and then the last one here, 4, both husband and wife are incentivized to stick to an unchanging, comfortable sexual script. He has to be assured of getting the validation he needs, and she to avoid the danger of misreading a new situation and failing at her emotional labor of providing the signs he needs to feel attractive. These issues make sex unappealing and unrewarding for the wife, so she avoids or rejects sex with her needy husband as much as possible and strongly resists any change to their standard sexual script. Even if she agrees to sex and performs well all desired acts, he may be unhappy if he didn't perceive her to be sufficiently attracted. Many such husbands want their wife to initiate sex as further validation. This is why I often, say in like get her to fuck you again. I talk about it on the podcast a lot. If you want more sex, initiate more. Okay, and the reason why I say this is because if this is your problem, right? If this is well, I would initiate, but she's not enthusiastic, then it's not even about the sex. Think about that for a second. It's not even about the sex. It's about you needing that validation from her, and validation seeking behavior is unattractive. Okay. So it just further drives the nail in the coffin of your bedroom situation. So one of the reasons, going back to Dr. Glover and why he says it's every adult's responsibility to make sure that they're getting their needs met, is to break this habit. A lot of it is to break this habit, right? So not to say that making sure that she's, having lots of orgasms is a bad thing, but in order to really make sure that that's actually happening and doing the things that make it pleasurable for her in the bedroom, you have to first break this habit. Okay. So if this is you, what I often tell guys too is, we punish bad behavior and we reward good behavior. If she's offering sex, you take her up on it. Okay. And you make sure to get yours. Okay. You make sure to get your needs met, then bang the shit out of her. And if you're frustrated and resentful, even better, fuck the shit out of her. Okay. Because the thing is that passion, when you go in there and just ravage her, and you're almost like a selfish lover, right? And you're not putting a lot of pressure on her to make sure she's getting her needs met, it changes the dynamic. Okay. And she's more likely to have an orgasm when you're just ravage the shit out of her. Right. So this is why we say this sort of thing, right? A lot of it, it's to break bad, unattractive habits, break the habit of being a nice guy. Okay. Then once you've broken this habit and you're getting lots of sex, the thing is you'll find that the more you do that, the more your wife will initiate more. It's a weird thing. It's like when you take that focus off of her and putting her on a pedestal, she actually starts coming back around more. It's really weird. It's quite the paradox, but you first have to break this habit. Okay. So he offers a diagnostic here. Diagnostic. If your perception and enjoyment of a sexual encounter depends on what you imagine your wife is thinking, you have a validation problem. Stay out of your wife's head. Okay. Stay out of your wife's head. By the way, guys, if you're in a dead bedroom situation and you're having problems like this, it's time to get this book because I really break a lot of this stuff down.
Are you tired of the dead bedroom? Wondering what happened to the passion, the connection, and the spark? Well, here's your answer. Introducing Get Her to Fuck You Again, a red pill guide to fix a dead bedroom, now on Amazon. This isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about real strategies that work. If your wife has stopped being intimate with you, it's not because the love is gone. It's because the attraction is gone. And that's fixable. This book will teach you the skills to lead your marriage, rebuild your confidence, and become the man she can't stop thinking about. 3 reasons to get this book. 1. It breaks the cycle. You'll learn how to stop doing the same things that are killing her attraction and start doing the things that reignite it. 2. It's practical and proven. With clear, actionable steps, you'll build yourself into the man you were always meant to be. 3. It works for men like you. Paul Bauer has helped hundreds of men just like you fix their dead bedrooms. And now, it's your turn. Don't let another day go by feeling frustrated and disconnected. Go to Amazon right now and buy Get Her to Fuck You Again. Read it, apply it, and watch your marriage transform. The connection isn't gone forever. You just need the roadmap to get it back. And this book is it.
All right, guys. Let's see here. We got some people in the chat. We have Phil. He says LFG. That means let's fucking go for the kids at home. And then brother Eric's in the house. Good to see you, man. And brother Dale from Wolfpack says, take it. That's right. Brother Dar Fitness says, pass. Fair enough. And then brother John says, hey, who's scruffy looking? All right. I'm definitely a nerf herder. Right. And, oh, hey, Mike Steele's in the house. Laughs in Wookiee. What's going on? Guys. Yeah, I won't say it. It's funny. Guys in the Wolfpack, Mike, tell the guys in Wolfpack what you sent me this morning. That is fucking wild. That's wild. I'm just going to say that right here. Okay. Let's see here. Brother Dale sent a $10 super chat. Men are rationalizing, saying they'd prefer not to have sex with their wife when she's not into it. Of course, I'd prefer her to be 100%. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Dale's. Did I say Dale? I said Dale, right? Okay. Of course, I'd prefer her to be 100% aroused, but I've learned to initiate and go for it no matter what. Indeed. I'm gonna give him this one.
I'm just gonna say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
That's right. You know, it's interesting because I was in this boat too. You know, I was in this boat too. I was always the guy who's like, if she's not into it, like, why am I even bothering? I'd much rather go sleep in another room and shit like that. And then it's funny, once I started learning this stuff and started putting it into practice, this was like one of the funniest times about this was I've talked about it on the podcast. Like red pill chick, after the breakup, did come sniffing back around, right? They almost all do. Like once you forget about them, they almost always come sniffing back around, right? And you never want to be a woman's plan B option. You never want to be on the back burner for chicks, you know? So like, I was never willing to get back together with her, but we did get back together and hooked up a couple times. And mainly because I wanted to find out, like I had some questions, right? Like questions that I needed answered and got those answered. But there was a time where we hooked up and I just took mine. I just did what I wanted. I took mine and she's like, hey, like I didn't finish. Right. And I go, you know, I'm good for it. I'll get you next time. It was like in that moment, it was almost validating for me to realize like, I didn't give a fuck anymore. Like, fuck you, bitch. I don't care. Taking mine. Anyway, something to think about. Okay. When you want to break this habit, the thing is that, I like with Nurse Chick, like we have I would venture to say that we have a phenomenal, love life. We have a phenomenal bedroom situation going on, and but I'm not like overly concerned with making sure she's getting off. But what's lucky for me is that nurse chick is, what does she say? She's like, I'm a sparkler. she's a chick that orgasms easily. So it's like, it's not even that hard. It's great. She was nurse chick. Going off on a side tangent here. Last night, we're watching Kingdom of Heaven. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie. It's a classic movie. It came out in 2005. I've never seen it. And we're in a bit of a show hole right now. So we're watching movies, and we watched that movie last night. And near the end of that movie, nurse chick is just staring at me. She's just eye fucking me, right? And I look over at her, and she's just looking at me like a fucking starving lion in the desert, looking at everything like it's a steak, right? And I'm like, what is up with you? And she was feeling it last night. It was good. Let's just say it ended really well. Okay. Let's see. Jar Fitness says smashing smashing that like button is alpha. That's true. And Woody says, listen to it 4 times. Time for round 5. Hey, brother, have you gotten the workbook that goes with this? Because that would really help you as well. I'd recommend getting the workbook. And let's see here. Got your answers and then some. Okay. Great movie. Yes. Kingdom of Heaven is actually a pretty good movie. I recommend that movie. Okay, good. Moving on. Good or giving lover validation. Validating their prowess or performance as a lover or as a generous lover who takes care of his wife's needs is important to the self-image of many men. For example, giving his wife an orgasm often becomes a symbolic metric validating the husband's performance. So he insists on making her come every time, even when she would prefer not to. This leads to bad sex for her and makes sex an emotional labor in which she feels pressured either to fake an orgasm or tolerate and perform a sexual act she doesn't desire then. It also objectifies the wife as a female orgasming machine that the husband plays like a video game to induce orgasm and thereby win his validation, making their sex impersonal rather than intimate. Paradoxically, the more the wife comes, the worse the sex may be for her. Isn't that wild? Women are weird, aren't they? By all means, bring your wife to orgasm if she wants one or more, but don't force it on her or pressure or shame her about her sexuality just to meet your own unhealthy need for validation. All right. By the way, guys, if you do get value out of these episodes, do consider sending a super chat. Would you? Super chats help support the show. I think I mentioned it on Friday, but the ads that they play on YouTube and Spotify, they pay pennies, right? So really the whole podcast is supported by viewers when you guys send super chats and stuff. Or if you're on Spotify, I had a guy this morning saying that he's gotten so much value from the podcast, he wanted to donate, but he's not on a lot of these apps. And he was wondering if Spotify had a donate button, and Spotify doesn't, but you can become a Spotify channel member. There's always a link in the description to be a Spotify channel member. It's like $3 a month. You can support the show that way too. And you get access to my bonus videos that I put out there. Let's see here. So the next one is special sex act / submission validation. Now, this is one that we talk about a lot in the red pill space. And a lot of the stuff we talk about in red pill space, you got to understand that there's some nuance to some of this stuff, right? For instance, not every woman out there is going to enjoy anal sex. Okay. So the concept that we often say in the space, like, hey, if she had genuine desire for you, bro, she would give you the anal sex. Like, that's true to an extent. Okay. But one thing that I learned from my good friend Eric Everhard. He's a legendary porn star, Eric Everhard. He wrote 2 phenomenal books. The first one's out of print. It was called Unleash Your Sexual Superpowers, and the other one's called The Tao of Eating Pussy. And that one he hasn't found a publisher for it yet, and he hasn't really pulled the trigger on self-publishing it either. But one of the things that he talks about is, like if you want a girl, he specifically said it in this situation. if you want a girl that's into threesomes, right? If threesomes your thing, if threesomes like your fucking bucket list item, you have to get a girl that's into other girls. It's never going to work if you have a girl that's really not into that and then you're forcing her to do it. And then because that genuine desire will only go so far until she's realizes that she doesn't like what you're making her do, and then it's gonna go away. The genuine desire is gonna dry up. You know what I mean? So if you really want a girl, if like anal sex is your thing, and you really want a girl that lets you do it all the time, you got to find a girl that's into it. Okay, that's the nuance, right? All right, you got to find a woman with genuine desire and who's into it, and that's where your contenders list comes in. Okay, anyway. Special sex act submission validation. It's quite common for an insecure beta to seek validation through the performance of specific sex acts where the symbolic validation matters more to him than the physical sensation or the quality of the overall sexual encounter, right? For instance, 1, if she really loved me, she would allow me anal sex. Or 2, I'd be okay with anal if she had refused all previous boyfriends, but she let her boyfriend Chad fuck her ass. So as her husband, I should get to 2. Obsession with being validated by her submission to a specific sex act can hold the entire sexual relationship hostage to its performance, ensures resentment on at least one side, and at best deadlocks the sexual relationship into its current poor state while they struggle over that one issue. Like almost all of this stuff goes into 1, validation seeking behavior, 2, putting her on a pedestal, and then 3, putting her in the wrong headspace. Right? If you want an enjoyable sexual experience with your girl, you have to learn how to get her into a good headspace about it. Right? That's one of the things that I talk about in Keep Your Bitch. Right? Keep Your Bitch. I talk about creating a sexual narrative for your girl. Right? That's what's going to give you a more enjoyable sexual experience. Not putting pressure on her and then demanding certain things of her. And if she doesn't get it, fuck that shit. You don't love me. And like whatever kind of, covert contract nonsense you're doing. Okay. This case often arises when the existing sexual pattern is locked into a narrow range due to the various issues discussed here, or by the man's limited range of sexual expression within his sexual comfort zone. So the desired act assumes outsized importance as the only safe way he can see to add novelty or variety to move the sexual relationship forward. In my own experience, as I've developed a richer palette of emotion and variety to play with, I care less and less about any specific sexual act. There's always other interesting new things to try. I mean, sometimes getting your girl in the right headspace about sex and stuff like that, it's not even about having her do some kind of weird, crazy submission thing or bondage thing or whatever freaky shit you're into. Okay. There's no judgment here. All right. This is the trust tree. Right. But simple things like, having car sex once in a while, it's like that kind of stuff could be enjoyable for both of you and put her in the right headspace about sex and variety and spontaneity and all that kind of fun stuff, right? By the way, if you guys want to swap notes about any of this stuff and talk to other guys that are working on this stuff or other guys that are going through what you're going through or dealing with what you're dealing with and guys who have come out better on the other side, it's time to run with the wolves, brother. Beer club? Not anymore.
Home, midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit 24/7. Brothers locked in steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to sleep.
By the way, if you guys are Spotify listeners, that's another way you can support the podcast is by joining the Wolfpack. All right. It's probably the most affordable men's group on the planet and probably the most value add you'll ever get out of any of these men's groups. All right. The next part here is, brother Larry's in the house. Hey, Paul, you're killing it. No, you're killing it, brother. You're killing it. By the way, hey, Larry, I'm meeting with my VA guy today. We're going to deposit those Nexus letters. So thanks for your help on that. Appreciate it. If you guys don't know, brother Larry is a shipmate of mine. We served on the USS Shiloh together. All right. Respectful, good guy validation, nice guy covert contract. Mainstream society promotes the ideal that men be polite, respectful, and chivalrous with women, and that courteous men avoid open discussion of personal sexual matters and desires. Nice guys create covert contracts that such behavior should itself entitle them to sexual relationships with women or their wives. Many of us, including myself before married red pill, have unthinkingly carried these polite social conventions over into our long-term relationships and paradoxically have frank, intimate discussions with our wives about everything except sex, which should be the most intimate of all. You know what's interesting about that though is a lot of guys are operating from covert contracts, and we have a guy in Wolfpack right now who he's been frustrated for months. He keeps spinning his wheels, and a lot of it is because he's still operating from covert contracts. And we keep pointing it out to him like, bro, that's covert contract. Bro, that's covert contract. He's like, oh, I did this nice thing. I rubbed her feet today and she didn't put out. I'm so frustrated and shit, right? That's covert contract type stuff. But then other nice guys will have a conversation, but the way it'll come across is, I've done all this stuff for you and you're still not fucking me. Right? That's the kind of conversations that guys will have because they think that communication is the key to a healthy relationship. But when you do stuff like that, it's not communication the way you think because she's speaking a different language. She's getting tone and your body language, and she's reading the subtext, and the way it comes across to her is whining and complaining, and she just looks at you like you're a fucking a child that's having a tantrum. Right? It's unattractive behavior as well to have discussions about sex, right? So one of the things that I talk about quite a bit on the podcast is like, don't talk about it, be about it. And Rollo says, demonstrate, don't explicate, right? Because what you end up doing when you're trying to talk about this kind of shit, right, is it ends up being a negotiation for desire. And you can't negotiate genuine desire. So one of the things that we challenged our brother in Wolfpack to do is to go 90 days. Go 90 days, just treat your wife like a fucking coworker, right? Just pull back. She's clearly pulling back. She's not giving you any of the validation that you're seeking. She's not following through with any of the covert contracts that you expect her to. So just pull back a little bit and treat her like a coworker for 90 days. Don't try to initiate sex with her. Don't try to like send her fucking flirty texts and shit throughout the day because she's not responding to any of that shit. And the thing is, he's on day fucking 5 or 6 or something like that. The thing was like, God, on day 3, he was already frustrated. He's like, oh, this is never going to work. And then we're like, dude, you're only on day 3. You got 90 days to go. But the thing is, the more he's pulling back, the more his wife is coming back to him, seeking his validation. You know what I mean? Like a lot of this kind of stuff you're trying to do, you're trying to get validation from your wife. The more you pull back from that, the more she's going to chase your validation. Because women are validation seeking. Attention and validation is coin of the realm in girl world. Okay. So the less validation and attention you give her, the more she's going to chase you for it. And the thing is, the more validation and attention you're seeking, the more you're acting like a fucking woman. And you're killing the polarity in the relationship. Okay. It totally contradicts everything that you've ever fucking learned about relationships because most of us were raised to be nice guys, right? These public conventions of politeness and respect made me avoid dirty talk, frank sexual discussion, and uninhibited expression of emotion, as in SGM with my wife. What's SGM? I don't know what SGM is. As an SGM with my wife until reading No More Mr. Nice Guy pointed out the complete incongruity with all other aspects of my life and marital relationship. Now we speak openly about sex and I talk with emotion during sex with my wife. Honestly, that's when communication is really good, right? Because a lot of a woman's orgasm is up in her mind, right? So if you're putting a lot of pressure on her, a lot of like, I need to make you come and all that kind of shit, she's up in her head about it. Like, oh, fuck, I better perform. Oh, I better moan right now. Oh, I better make sure that he knows that I'm having a good time, even though I'm really not, right? Like women are fucking neurotic. But if you take that pressure off her and then just talk dirty in her ear, and really get dirty with that shit too, right? The thing is that the more you can create this visual in her mind of the sexual experience and not pressure, the more she's going to enjoy it and the more likely she's going to have orgasms, right? And then when you do talk about sex, like don't talk about it like it's this dirty thing. Talk about it like as it's this fun connection activity that you guys both enjoy. Like one thing that I'm going to write a book on, this is on my list of books to write, is on always sexually harass your girl. Because that's Nurse Chick and I do that shit constantly. We're constantly sexually harassing each other. We constantly turn everything into a sexual innuendo. Nurse Chick's worse about it than I am. Like we're watching that movie last night, right? Kingdom of Heaven. And there's a scene where the Saracens, right, the Syrian army has battering rams and they're trying to smash through a door. And Nurse Chick just looks at me with a dirty look. And then we turn that into a whole entire dirty sexual joke that I'll get demonetized if we go into it here. But anyway. Let's see here. Egalitarian validation / reciprocity covert contract. Some guys build their self-image as a good person on being scrupulously fair and egalitarian. Many are also nice guys who build covert contracts expecting complete sexual reciprocity and symmetry from their wives. This is why one of the things that I try to get out of your guys' vocabulary is to stop calling your girl your partner, right? And that will make people lose their shit more than anything on the fucking on social media. I'm like, she's not your partner. She's not your partner, right? She's your girlfriend or she's your wife, okay? When you call her your partner, it assumes equalness, right? And that's what the feminine narrative is we're all equals. We're all equals here. We're equal partners. The thing is that it goes against women's hypergamous nature. And when you act like an equal partner and you expect reciprocity in every fucking thing that you do, she actually ends up in charge of the relationship anyway. You defer to her authority and it's still not equal. It's still not an equal partnership. And then she resents your ass for not setting the tone and leading the relationship like a man would do. And the polarity is all off. Right. So that's one of the reasons why I'm like, get out of your head the idea of a fucking partner. Get out of your head the idea of egalitarianism when it comes to intersexual dynamics. It doesn't fucking exist. Okay. And it's killing your fucking relationship believing that it does. Okay. So anyway, he gives some examples here. 1, I never deny her sex, so it's not fair that she rejects me. 2, I give her oral, so she should give me blowjobs. And then 3, each of us should initiate half the time. And this is why goes back to what I say before. Like if your wife's not initiating more, like a lot of guys end up in a dead bedroom simply because she's not initiating and they're expecting her to initiate. And the thing is, you got to understand, women by nature are passive creatures. They expect men to initiate. So if you want more sex, you have to initiate more. That is as simple as that. Oh, but I also want her to make sure you want her to be enthusiastic, right? Like this is exactly what we're talking about today. Okay. If you want more sex, fucking initiate more. Because it's not an equal partnership. Okay. Anyway. And then they resent their wives for not fulfilling these hidden expectations. He has another quote here. From that other guy. The other guy said, I still, even after so long, find my wife's attitude towards sex difficult. Even now, when we're having more sex than I ever really thought possible, it's always me focusing on her. She never goes down on me, doesn't focus on my pleasure outside of PIV, etc. What's PIV? Guys, let me know in the chat. What's PIV? I don't know what the fuck that means. I probably do. I just am not recognizing the acronym there. As with, this goes back to the author, as with good and giving lover validators, these egalitarian validation seekers may impose bad sex and emotional labor on their wives in the name of strict fairness and reciprocity in order to validate their self-perception as fair egalitarian partners. The reciprocal covert contractors will experience the usual disappointment, resentment, anger, and butthurt as their wives resist or reject bad sex. Hypocrisy is common here, as the fair nice guy generally only gives in ways that he sexually enjoys and then expects a second reward for his sacrifice. Right? So this is one of those things where, like, when it goes to communication and open talk about sex, like, it is good to find out what she actually does like. Because if you're doing all this stuff and it's just not ringing her bell, it does behoove you to find out what does ring her bell, right? Women, most women, a vast majority of women out there know how to get themselves off, right? And a lot of them, like, won't tell you. They're ashamed of it. A lot of them will feel like you're judgmental. But this is also a lot of the time, a lot of what I talk about on the podcast too here, where if you allow her to feel comfortable talking to you about this stuff, you're not a judgmental prick, right? And you don't go blabbing about it to other people. Like, she knows that her sexual secret is safe with you. She will open up and let her freak flag fly. You'll find out she's into way weird shit. You know what I mean? And, like, that's cool. Like, you'll end up having crazier sex than you even imagined once you get to this place. Okay. But you've got to let go of all this nice guy shit. You've got to let go of, like, Madonna horror complexes and all this stuff that really interferes with a great sex life. Right. Let's see here. Social media. By the way, guys, follow me on social media. Links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. All right. Intimacy. So going back to the original poster, I'm not sure what sex without any need for external validation even looks like. At that point, is anything that produces a similar physical experience equivalent? Is having sex with a robot the same as having sex with your wife or having sex with a stranger, provided they produce similar physical feelings? So the author continues. He goes, the great advantage of long-term relationship sex over one-night stand, or what's STR? What's STR? I don't know what fucking STR is. Maybe something like friends with benefits, right? But anyway, the great advantage of an LTR sex over a one-night stand, or STR, is its potential for intimacy. Sex with the deep emotional and physical interplay based on profound knowledge of and raw, unfiltered interaction between each other's bodies, minds, and emotions. Validation seeking and covert contracts prevent intimacy because they are self-focused rather than focused on open, uninhibited interplay with the other person. They make sex transactional and constrained within limited boundaries. Great sex requires eliminating all covert contracts and all need for validation and ego support to create the conditions in which intimacy can emerge, right? So that's why I keep saying you've got to stop pressuring her to make sure she's having a good time, and then just really, focus on the sex and enjoyment of it and whatever, and create the sexual narrative for her so that you guys can both enjoy it. So you guys can both be uninhibited and not be in your heads about all this shit, right? Like, if think about it from this point of view. If you're constantly focused on making sure she's having a good time and all this you're in your fucking head about it. How are you really even enjoying it? Right? So you've got to just fucking let go of that attachment. All this stuff is attachment to outcome, right? You got to let go of all that kind of shit. And that's why, going back to Dr. Glover, that's why he says, like, you basically have to just get yours, just take yours, be a selfish lover, right? Do that for a while until you break the fucking habit of validation seeking and covert contracts, right? And then she can get out of her head and you guys can she'll actually start craving it, and you'll find she'll start initiating more, and you'll be like, fuck, I'm getting all this validation now. This is crazy. Right? Diagnostic scenario. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up here. So diagnostic scenario, because we want to give actionable advice to you guys. The following scenario may help you identify hidden needs for validation or covert contracts that are limiting your sex life. You come to bed after a long day shortly after your wife. You find yourself incredibly horny, so you initiate sex. Your wife says, honey, I had a long and difficult day and I'm totally exhausted. I don't want an orgasm. I'm not up for giving you a blowjob or a hand job or riding you or even moving. But I would enjoy just lying here passively and letting you take your pleasure with my body. Could you embrace her offer, or would you refuse because, one, receptive starfish sex doesn't validate you, which is attraction validation. Her refusal to perform a blowjob or other acts of obedience or submission doesn't validate your ego, so that's specific sex act or submission validation. Not giving her pleasure fails to validate your sexual prowess, good lover validation. You're profoundly uncomfortable focusing on your own pleasure rather than hers. That's the giving lover or egalitarian validation. You're unable to believe her statement that she wants you to. That's attraction validation. You're too uncomfortable with your own sexuality to express or expose it without the cover of pleasuring her. That's respectful validation. Okay. And he goes, would you accept her offer like a nice guy, but then push for more from her during the action to try to get your validation or fulfill your covert contract? Not fully enjoy it because of butthurt about not getting validated. Not fully enjoy it because you worried about what she was thinking or feeling, or not do what you really desired for fear of what she might think. Okay. Could you overcome your need for egalitarian validation and fully embrace and fully enjoy her offer by, one, turning on the lights and uninhibited, I don't know why I can't say this morning, uninhibitedly telling her every dirty thought, feeling, and desire, which is overcome need for respectful validation, as you stare at her naked tits, stroke her hair and skin, slowly insert yourself inside her, and focus on having the perfect orgasm? That would be overcoming need for good or giving lover validation. Eating her pussy entirely for your own pleasure without making her come. That's overcome need for good or giving lover validation. While telling her how she tastes and feels. That's overcoming your need for respectful validation, right? And then climbing right on and pounding away if that's what you really desire at the moment. That's overcoming your need for good or giving lover validation, right? And you've probably heard me talk about it on the podcast, right? Like, if you're resentful for your wife, if she offers sex, and like, take her up on it, right? And then take that resentment and bang the shit out of her. Take yours. I always say that. Take yours. Okay. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Because you need to get out of your own fucking head about this shit and just be a selfish lover for a while. Okay. Just be a selfish lover for it. Doesn't have to be forever. It's only until you break this fucking habit. And you'll find that sex will actually become more pleasurable the more you get out of each other's fucking heads about all this shit, right? He says you're not fully comfortable with your own sexuality or with hers, or you're hung up by validation needs or covert contracts if you can't do this stuff. Okay. It's something to think about. I really want you guys to think about this. And like I said, it's not, at the beginning of the episode, I said it's not punching down on anybody, because I used to be this guy. I used to be exactly what he's talking about here. Most of us, either are like that or were like that. Okay. So, but it's something to think about. And it really does behoove you to break that habit. It really does. And your sex life will monumentally improve when you can let go of this stuff. Okay. Don't take my word for it. I want you guys to take the rest of the day, process this, think about it. You know, one of the reasons why I have a companion workbook with Get Her to Fuck You Again is because it asks a lot of these types of questions. Like, why are you really doing this stuff? Because it forces you to dig deep. If you guys get the workbook, don't half-ass it. Like, really, like when it asks you a question, there's like 3 prompts a day. It'll take you like 10, 15 minutes a day. When it asks you a question, I really want you to process it and really think deep down. Like, why do I do this stuff? Why do I insist that she's having a good time in the bedroom? Right? Is it because I genuinely want to make sure it's a pleasurable experience for her? Or is it because it's validation seeking for me? Like, be honest with yourself. Okay. Because until you can dig through that shit, it's never going to be aware. You're never going to be aware of it. And a lot of our problems in life comes down to awareness. We don't even realize that we're having a problem until we're aware of it. Once we're aware of it, continuing to act that way is a choice now, right? But once you're aware of it, you can also choose to do something a little bit different, right? And actually probably get better results. Okay. All right. What do we got in the chat here before I wrap this pig up here? Let's see. Can of Rockstar says, have you seen how nice guys treat their coworkers? Dude, a lot of nice guys treat their coworkers with covert contracts too, right? A lot of nice guys do covert contracts in all areas of their life. And they have I had really bad anger issues. Like, if you talk to me like 15 years ago, like I was the epitome of a nice guy. And I was raised, I shit on my dad a lot, right? But I was raised to be like my dad. My dad's your classic nice guy. One of the things that, my dad's getting older in age, and I love the shit out of him. And one thing I have to constantly remind myself is like, he was raised to be a nice guy too. He was trying to figure things out, like I forgive my parents for a lot of the stuff that I blame them for, cause like they didn't know any better. And most of us are winging it through life anyway. Right. But I was raised that way. And I would have these blow ups at work sometimes at people. I would fucking yell at people. Like, there's times where I'd fucking dress down people and shit because like I felt I was owed something or whatever. Like, yeah, like nice guys are the furthest thing from being nice, Let's see here. Sex fasting for 90 days. Oh, well, see, that's the thing. He even got laid. He got laid for this, right? So we told him, treat your wife like a coworker. She literally initiated with him the other night. And then he's like, oh, I think I failed because, I ended up fucking her. And we're like, no, dude, it's working. It's all, it's working. Don't think that you have to, the work stops though. Keep going for the 90 days. Keep pulling back. Stop putting that fucking pressure on her, right? Work on you, be your own mental point of origin. All of that stuff was to teach him how to be his own mental point of origin and stop being in his wife's frame and shit, right? A lot of this stuff, the validation seeking behavior, you're still operating in your wife's frame. Okay. Nurse Chick says, yes, we do. Good morning, gentlemen. Oh, Nurse Chick, she gets this.
I'm so naughty.
I'm gonna come.
Oh.
That pussy must be ridiculous.
It is. It really is. Take my word for it. And then Brother John says, Erkin, more like all attention or the little things. Let's see here. STR, short-term relationship. Thank you. Yes, that's probably what you're right. That's probably it. Short-term relationship. Thanks, brother. And he goes, you Americans, you fucking American pigs. Just kidding. You Americans don't even have energy to type full words and use abbreviations all the time. It's funny. I was a sailor. I was in the Navy, and the Navy is full of acronyms. In fact, the Navy even came up with a program to try to reduce acronyms. It's called the Navy Acronym Reduction Program, NARP for short. Okay. I hope you guys see where I was going with that. Anyway, that's all I got for this episode, guys. If you haven't done so yet, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's all we got. We'll see you next time.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, Go out and get it.